Portal is a 3D puzzle platformer developed by Valve in 2007 for the PC. Console versions exist because of Valve's Orange Box series, however for the purposes of analyzing and reviewing the game in its raw form, I will only take on what's available on the PC. In Portal, players take on the role of Shell, a silent test subject who wakes up in the Aperture Science Laboratory's computer-aided enrichment center. Within this facility, you are introduced to a series of puzzles by GLaDOS, an artificially intelligent research assistant of Aperture Science. As Shell, you must pass each puzzling test chamber in order to progress to the next chamber. There are 19 chambers in total, and in return for passing these tests, GLaDOS promises you cake and grief counseling. Fun. So, how do we get there? This is a mouse. I can drag this mouse to look around, and I can click this mouse to shoot portals. Left click for a blue portal. Right click for an orange portal. Fancy. This is a keyboard, and so is this. Use the WSAD keys to move forward, backwards, left, and right. Like so. Use the spacebar to jump. Use the control key to crouch in case you get yourself in a tight situation. And use E to interact with objects. This could be carrying boxes and whatnot. It could also be activating switches and buttons, like so. Fancy. Keep in mind, this isn't the only way to play. A portion of people modify controllers and even their keyboard commands to their liking.
Sham, wow!
I know. Knowing this, it's time to get a good look at the game mechanics. Here's how portals and the primary objective work. Use portals and evasive maneuvering to traverse puzzles. At the end of each puzzle lies the entrance to the next one. Enter a blue portal to exit out of an orange portal, and vice versa. Portal also utilizes a particular physics for its falling mechanics. You don't take any damage from falling from any height. Plus, the momentum you carry from falling can transfer in different directions using portals. However, you're not indestructible. Hazards create a whole new challenge in a variety of ways. There are high-density energy pellets. Get hit by it, you die. Cubes. Get hit by it, you die. Acid. Fall on it, you die. Pistons. Stay in front of one. You die. Turrets. Get shot by one. You die. Knock it over to disable it. The portal gun will not work on it. Unless, P.S. If you fall in the pit of fire, you die. Oh, by the way, there are several buttons and switches you will have to activate in order to move ahead in some areas. They open doors. They also move and raise platforms, or stairs. Portal doesn't pull its punches when it wants you to learn a new mechanic. If you want to move ahead, you're required to practice and sometimes perfect certain skills. Let's take a look at this in-game tutorial. So, in terms of progression, right, setting up the stage. Already giving us some controls to play with.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer-Aided Enrichment Center. We hope your brief detention in the relaxation vault has been a pleasant one. Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper. Before we start, however, keep in mind that although fun and learning are the primary goals of all enrichment center activities, serious injuries may occur. For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from turn back. The portal will open in 3, 2, 1.
So already we know that we are in a test facility and we just tested how the portals work. We get a little bit of the cynicism coming from the voice. We get hints the facility might be breaking down. Now we have our first puzzle. We have to get through this door, see how these signs are directing us. Now if I stand on here, that door will open, but I need something else to stand on it. Press E to pick up an object. Don't mind if I do. Here we are.
Excellent. Please proceed into the chamber lock after completing each test. First, however, note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This aperture science material emancipation grid will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it. For instance, the aperture science weighted storage cube.
Already placing some value on these cubes, huh? Again, no serious info dump of exposition at the beginning. In the first 2 minutes of the game, we're still shrouded in mystery. And that sort of sets the tone for the rest of the game, going on from here. On to the next puzzle. Notice how there are different signs for different types of obstacles around here. They're a little faded here, but they might prove useful after all. You even get a little bit of a hint of a cake at the end. Who knows?
Please place the weighted storage cube on the 1500 megawatt aperture science heavy duty super colliding super button.
So we need to press another button to open that door over there. We need to use this cube to do it. Of course, we need to time that better. Can't get out of this room without utilizing those portals that keep rearranging themselves. Now's my chance.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock, as the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
A little bit of humor there, just giving so much value to that button. All of these elevators really give you a sense of the scope of how big this facility might be and how important these tests might end up becoming. Chamber 18 in particular wants you to utilize the flying mechanic to a certain degree. Alright, just gotta get this one more time.
Well done.
There we
Be
go.
advised that the next test requires exposure to uninsulated electrical parts that may be dangerous under certain conditions. For more information, please attend an Enrichment Center Electrical Safety Seminar.
Throughout the game, it's frequently hinted that aperture science is not exactly the most humane place to be. At some points you're meant to wonder if you're the right test subject, and later on it becomes quite clear that GLaDOS does not want you alive.
As part of a required test protocol, we will stop enhancing the truth in 3, 2... What are you doing? Stop it. We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder you. We are very, very happy for your success. We are throwing a party in honor of your tremendous success. Place the device on the ground, then lie on your stomach with your arms at your sides. A party associate will arrive shortly to collect you for your party. Make no further attempt to leave the testing area.
Seems pretty simple, but in its simplicity there exists a depth that makes Portal one of the most fun experiences I've ever had solving puzzles. The game doesn't really pull its punches when it tells you to use your intellectual problem-solving skills. There's a great satisfaction I get every time I overcome these obstacles because of how real they felt. The physics from the falling mechanics and the creative freedoms offered by the portal gun give me a thrill of danger and a sense of power like no other first-person shooter I've encountered, such as Call of Duty or even BioShock. The applications of these mechanics alone provides joy of discovery and advancement in the learning experience, and once you learn enough, you become almost unstoppable. Just take a look at the speedrunners and you'll get a good idea of what I mean. However, the mechanics wouldn't feel as impactful without the game's narratological elements. Portal handles its immersion with a sense of humor that can only be perceived as brutally wholesome. The narrative that unfolds around you instills both a sense of comfort and discomfort, hinting at a greater truth in the distance, but never letting the stakes feel too high. There is always an incentive to move ahead because you are Shell, and these voices come from GLaDOS. But the atmosphere never gets too heavy to go forward and rock the house. I'd like to take a second to talk about what aesthetic elements really make these feelings shine through. Visually, the game takes pride in its minimalism. Its color palette consists of simple contrasts, blue and orange, black and white. To boot, the game is filled with smooth yet polygonal shapes. No texture too detailed, no model too intricate. I encourage players to take advantage of the audio in Portal. The sound effects are always very inorganic, firmly setting us in the realm of unfeeling but often fun machines. The music can come off as quite chilling and daunting at times, but picks up in a kind of relaxing way in certain areas. It can instill both a fear of the game's mystery, as well as an eagerness to take it on. The end credits song seems like a reward of sorts for participating in this phenomenon, to be honest. In the same vein, the monotone and robotic voice work of the characters in Portal doesn't prevent its great personalities to show through. In fact, I think it is because of the robotic voices that the machines in this game have their charm. Similarly, making Shell a silent protagonist makes the boldness of her actions that much louder, seeing how she handles the facility's obstacles with a sense of composure and stoicism that subverts the frustratingly difficult challenges players go through as her. The level design in Portal ensures that you mustn't forget the complex mechanics you've learned to overcome different hurdles. However, that's not to say that there aren't more than one solution to each puzzle. Speedrunners can certainly attest to the full might of the portal gun. And that's where Portal's true strength probably lies. Expression of might through experimentation and discovery, in addition to a Black Forest cake. If I had one criticism of the game, it would be that it isn't long enough. Out of 100, I'd probably give it a score of 100 points. It embraces its minimalism and uses the tools at its disposal to create an experience unlike any other. Except for Portal 2, probably. The online Portal community feels the same way. Some might take it as a cult following, which I'm sure the game deserves. Regardless of its public perception, the community still explores what has yet to be found in the game's vast, yet simple depth in its lore and its mechanics.